This video offers women some evidence that the symptoms of endometriosis can be treated by exercise or physical activity. Although the condition can be treated surgically, there is currently no cure for endometriosis. 20% of those who had surgery will experience a return of their symptoms within 2 years. The recurrence rate increases to 43% within 5 years after surgery. On the other hand, exercise and physical activity can reduce your pain and improve your quality of life. Welcome, you're watching Basic Hale. This is the uterus. It is about the size of a medium-sized pear, although it can grow up to 20 times this size during pregnancy. It returns to more or less this size after childbirth. In endometriosis, small structures that look and behave like the uterus grow in places where they should not. The most common location is the ovaries, where it develops into chocolate cysts. But this can also happen in the fallopian tubes, the bladder, the intestines, the diaphragm, and the heart. These small copies of pseudo-uterus, scattered all over the body, follow the same menstrual cycle as the uterus. They swell like the womb just before ovulation, and they bleed like the uterus at the end of the menstrual cycle. The double trouble is that the swelling occupies extra space, making the woman feel bloated. And the bleeding happens in places where blood cannot be easily cleared. This causes inflammation and the extra pain that she feels. In some cases, the condition can lead to infertility and certain types of cancers, such as cancer of the ovaries, the uterus, and the cervix. This is the life of 200 million women worldwide. This number is half of all the women and girls affected. The other half do not know that they have endometriosis, either because their condition is very mild or because they have not been properly diagnosed despite having symptoms. Considering that more and more women are now choosing not to have children, this number may increase in the near future because the condition is more common among women who have not given birth. The current knowledge base on how and why endometriosis happens is a collection of theories and guesswork. This lack of information about the cause is due in part to the many locations in the body where the impostor uterus can grow. And an even more confusing aspect of the puzzle is that women who do not have a uterus can have endometriosis. An example of such are women with agenesis of the uterus, which is a failure of the uterus to develop during embryonic life. Another example is Mayer-Rokitansky-Costa-Hauser syndrome. This is a genetic condition in which a woman is born without a uterus. Although it rarely happens, men can also develop endometriosis. So we are still a long way from discovering the cause, but the knowledge base on how exercise can help women who have this condition is robust and offers tangible hope of a normal life. Before 2022, all the studies on this subject were cautious about making any claims regarding the effects of exercise on endometriosis, mainly because the studies were of low quality. However, things are changing. In 2023, Atacho Cordon and their colleagues conducted a randomized control trial with an umbrella title of Physio-EndEA. After assessing their study with the risk of bias tool from Cochrane, I found it to be of low risk of bias. This means that we can reasonably accept that the findings of this study represent reality. The study shows that exercise or physical activity have an effect size of 0.8 at reducing the pain of endometriosis. In plain language, this means that if you have endometriosis, the probability of reducing your pain is 80% if you exercise, but the probability is only 20% if you don't exercise. It also means that women who have endometriosis and engage in regular physical activity will reduce their pain by an average of 80%, while women who do not exercise might reduce their pain by an average of 20%. You can choose any activity that you prefer. It might be dancing, power walking, or yoga. Just get out there and move your body. The effects of physical activity goes beyond reducing pain. Exercise has similar effects at making women feel empowered. You know that feeling of impotence and inability to take control of your circumstance, a feeling that seems to increase in magnitude when you are in constant pain for a long time. Well, 80% of that feeling is removed by exercise. Exercise makes women who have endometriosis to feel powerful and confident. The specific activities that Atacho Cordon and their colleagues used for the women that participated in their study are described in 4 categories. They started with an activity called motor control. This motor control exercise requires that a woman is able to contract the muscles of the crotch area at the same time as the muscles of the belly. The women were not allowed to progress to the other 3 categories of exercise if they could not perform this motor control exercise. The researchers used the machine to measure the ability of women to perform the motor control exercise. The other 3 categories of exercise do not require any special skills, but it is helpful if a woman has the guidance of a physiotherapist to do them, and even more beneficial if the exercises are done as a group activity with other women. The exercises are stretching, strengthening the muscles of the back and the crotch area, and the last activity is aerobic exercise, any aerobic exercise, commonly known as cardio. Thank you for watching. I hope that this information is useful for you or someone that you know. Please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to Basic Hale to support the creation of more informative content like this one. And please let me know in the comment section if you need more information or explanation related to the subject, and my next video could be about your query. See you in the next one.